Hello, hello, my name is Emma and welcome to It Gets So Lonely Here, a Yandere Yuri visual novel. First, I want to read the trigger warnings first, because just in case, you know. So, trigger warnings. Drowning, being buried alive, we all know that, we all love that. Cannibalism, my favorite. Bullying, and the veiled dimensions of homophobia, and the creator of this game says, you know, reader discretion is advised. So now that I've got that out of the way, I can't wait to meet random people. I've vaguely skimmed the synopsis and I remember nothing because it was like very long ago. So let's just start. We'll see how that goes. You're running through a forest. It's late at night and the sky is as black as pitch. As black as pitch? As pitch as black. There's nothing to light your way save for the moon's milky glow, but its rays cannot reach you. Not properly. No! Moon! Help me! The trees which surround you, jutting out of earth like eerie monuments to a foreign god, are blotting out most of the light. God damn it! I mean, not the god! No! You cannot see where you are going. Did I just hear something? Oh, I am hearing something. Owls, maybe? Even if you had commenced your flight at a more sensible hour, however, with the light of the sun to aid you, it would be of little use, because the tree god hates me. You do not know where you are going. You have no map, no route, no plan. It also says that there's not a lot of violent gore going on, so that's good for me. You are running like a frightened animal, anxious and nervy. Nervy. With no destination in mind. Well, I never have a destination in mind anyway. You have no desire as you run, save to escape. Escape from what? That's the question! You cannot let yourself be caught. If that were to happen, you are certain that you would be ruined. You have no choice, therefore, but to keep going on and on and on. Though your feet are screaming at you for mercy, I do have bad muscle. Muscle very bad. You have no idea how long you've been running. Time has begun to blend together. It has lost all meaning. Something sharp snags at the hem of your skirt, but you do not have the luxury to pause and examine what happened. We can just run while doing it. Just, what happened to my skirt? Look down. Instead, you tug. Your skirt tears in the sound of splitting across the forest, and you stumble forward with a shocked gasp. You're free, but at what cost? My skirt! My skirt! Your skirt has been irrevocably damaged. It might be a little too late to worry about trivial matters now, though. If you do not start running again, and soon, she will catch you. Then your life will be over. You do not know if she is still following you. Who is she? I don't know, man. But you do not want to risk looking over your shoulder, because she might be there. If you were to see her silhouetted behind a tree, looking at you with that sickly, sweet smile that once ensnared you, you would lose that little nerve you Oh, so that's how they caught us. I see. Your legs would lock up and your blood would freeze in your veins. Then you would crumble. You would fall, but you would not hit the ground because she would catch you in a very romantic manner. But you know that you can no longer trust her. Actually, why is the X up here? I wonder. She would be there to catch you. Did she not promise, when you made that contract, that you would never be alone? You would like to take back that silly wish of yours, but it's too late for that. She's already here. She's staring at you while you're thinking. You should probably run, like right now. It is too late for a lot of things. All you can do is run. You run and run and run while icy fog swirls around your feet. We're in a different biome now. It's cold enough to sap the heat from your body and you shudder from it, but good thing I'm running, because I'm all sweaty. It feels as though you're drowning. It feels as though you're being buried alive. Hey, that's a trigger warning! Oh no! Your knees and your shins, meanwhile, are bleeding. Oh no! It's from my fall! You cannot endure much more of this. But if you value your own life, you must. You run, and you run, and you run. Until, at long last, you reach a fork in the road. There are 3 paths which split off through the forest. Well, 4 if you count the path which you came. You cannot exactly double back on yourself, though. Not when you put so much effort running forward. You can only press on. I can already guess the paths. Left, forward, right. Where are we going, guys? Well, I'm choosing and you guys don't have a choice. We're going... left. Right. Right for right-handed. The 3 paths are signposted, which is something of a strange sight, given you're so deep in the forest. Dark though it might be, you have grown accustomed to the shadows. You can just about pick out the writing on this old, dilapidated signpost curved and slanted through it. Your fate, if you will forgive me for being cliché, is in your hands. I just grabbed the signpost. Perfect. Now I wonder, which path will you take? Shore, village, or castle? Shore, I'm drowning. What was the other one again? What was the other one? It's cannibalism might be the village. And what was the other one? I don't know, but that one's probably the castle, right? Buried alive. Oh, buried alive might be the village. Cannibalism might be the castle, actually. I'd rather drown. So you want to go to the shore? Good idea. What will you discover there, I wonder? The night is far from over, and there are any number of adventures still waiting for you. I hope that you have prepared yourself in advance, and I do hope, for your sake, that you have learned how to swim. I know how to swim! I took swimming lessons when I was a kid! I have a sneaking suspicion that this skill might come in handy. You follow the path which leads you to the shore, supporting yourself on the wary, aching limbs which feel ready to snap at the knee beneath the burden of your weight. You are little more than a wisp of a girl, but you've been running for so very long, and your feet are so very numb. You feel like a great lumbering thing, no longer human. You need to lie down, and quickly. We're gonna float in the ocean, boys. You only hope, as you continue to run, that you will find a means to escape your current predicament by the shore. You do not know what awaits you, but you have visions of an harbor extending out to the horizon, cradling a fleet of white sailing fishing vessels. Surely there will be a kindly fisherman who will be willing to take you far, far away on his boat, to the place that your pursuer will not be able to find you? Man, I sure hope in this Yandere Yuri visual novel that there is someone so kind as to help me. You can imagine, too, the face of this kindly fisherman, a face you have lifted from the fairy tales you read in abundance as a small child. He will have thick, bushy eyebrows and a dark brown beard streaked with gray. He will look intimidating at a glance, but he will be fiercely protective of you, like a father. Like the one I never had. I still have a dad, but in this game, we're pretending I'm not. You do not know what fathers are supposed to be like. See, I don't have a dad in the game. You are only imagining. It is your imagination, however, which grants you the strength needed to keep going. Oh, there's the shore. It kind of looks like a duck. Like, this left part is like a beak. Then there's the head, and then there's the neck. You run to the shore. It takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods, but finally you do. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time has begun to lose all its meaning? I mean, if you look at the sky and you calculate the position or something that I definitely know how to do, you can definitely tell the time. The forest is behind you now, at least, and all the awful nightmares that lurk within it. It is still cold, though, and still foggy. It's probably colder now because we're near the beach, the shore. It is still dark, too. The sun is yet to rise. Come on, sun, come up! Ooh, the moon is pretty. You can see the moon more clearly now as it hangs above your head, round as a pearl, or orb, or crystal ball, telling me my fate. I'm probably gonna drown. The moonlight shines down upon the vertiginous cliffs, which plummet sharply downward to an array of sharp, spiky rocks below. You felt, upon escaping the woods, a degree of hope, but the sight of those weather-blasted cliffs give you a pause. You inhale, then you frown. Now, what are you to do? You did not think this plan of yours through very well. Not that you have much in the way of plan in the first place, brain very slow. There's little in the way of civilization here. The cliffs are far from the village. How far? Don't start going ah on me, okay? Put that ah away. Calm down. We don't need that. How far you do not know, and you cannot see any houses. We're on the shore. Where exactly will you rest your weary head and what of your weary legs? Fitfully, you look around. Oh my god, why don't I just slide down and do the fun roll? There's nobody to your east, nor is there anybody to your west. Where's the fisherman? Where's my father figure that I was aspiring for? There's no point in looking south, which is the way you came, and when you look north, the world falls away from you. Yo, this is... Ooh, stop humming, thanks. The cliffs are too steep to scale and it's too dark. Naturally, there's not a soul here to help you. You're on your own. You feel so overwhelmed you could very well cry. We can do that while running if you want. Like, that's always an option. You do not cry, however. Why? You know that tears have never helped anyone. It could help me emotionally, okay? Let me cry. You got yourself into this mess. Yeah, I deserve to be, what, chased by someone that's gonna kill me? No, thank you. Now you need to get yourself out of it. It is with this thought in mind that you inhale a lungful of salty oceanic air. Then, you begin your exploration in earnest. You keep away from the edge of the cliff, afraid that you might slip and take a sudden, unfortunate tumble into the abyss below. You are not as attached to your mortal body as many humans are, but you do not want to die just yet. You still care for yourself, even if only a little. Man, you ain't okay either, girl. Girl? And it is this sense of self-preservation which compels you onward. You glance this way and that, depressing the tall grass beneath your shoes as you search for a place of shelter. Surely there must be somewhere? You cannot see any likely-looking settlements, but what is that over yonder? Even in the seas, I can't see. Could that be a roof? Oh, I don't like the look of that house. Sketchy. You hurry onwards, hope budding anew in your heart until, at long last, you reach your destination. There's a home after all, out here in the wilds, though it doesn't, at a glance, look very welcoming. Yeah, it looks kind of like I'd die in there. The solitary house that you have discovered not so far from the cliffs is rather unremarkable. It is so small and squat, you cannot imagine it contains within more than one floor. I mean, I don't know if it contains more than a room. You cannot even imagine that it contains more than one room. See? Though it is dark, it is not dark enough to mask the cottage has somewhat of a slant to it. It is leaning listlessly to one side like a drunken sailor. Oh my gosh, are you my dad? Are you my dad, house? Hi, Daddy! The thatched house, or the thatched roof, meanwhile, which tops this dwelling, has certainly seen better days. There's a hole in the thatch. Well, there are several holes in fact, and part of it looks particularly bare, almost bald. Definitely dad material. That is rather concerning. Should it rain, you will not be properly protected from the elements. Could you really stay the night in such a place? You have some misgivings. But do your misgivings really matter when there's nowhere else to go? It's not as though you have any other options. It is with a sense of defeat, therefore, that you approach the cottage, which sticks out of the earth like a tombstone. Oh my god, all this foreboding is gonna get me killed! Part of you wants to turn back, but you know that would be foolish. The windows of the cottage are dark, but that does not necessarily mean it is empty. It is rather late at night after all. Whoever lives here, if indeed anyone lives here, might be asleep. You cannot imagine the owners of this house, or this cottage, will appreciate being roused so very late at night. But I don't have a choice, bitches! You cannot let yourself worry too much about these small details, however. Otherwise, you'll never get anywhere. Well, I don't think we can go back. Like, the only way would be a boat, right? Because the scary lady's in the forest. You swallow. The taste of the salty sea air, the salty sea breeze is pungent in the back of your nostrils. Then you rap the knuckles of your right fist on the door. Very specific. I am right-handed. You are correct. Kong kong kong. You rap quietly at first, but you do not hear any resultant shuffling inside the cottage. Perhaps you did not use enough strength to start punching the door. Oh no, I don't like this background. Actually, you can start humming again. Can you come back? I don't like it. Emboldened, you rap your knuckles on the door for a second time, more loudly this time. You wait a few moments, but still, you cannot hear anything. Perhaps the cottage is unoccupied after all. You knock for a third time, then wait. The third time is, as they say, the charm, but for all that, your knocking goes unanswered. Well, nobody can say that you did not try. Well, I did try, and I'm very scared. More intrigued now than anxious, your fingers find the handle of the door. You pull it down and, to your surprise, it yields easily. Man, lock your doors, people! The door swings back for you, as if by magic. I should mute. I don't want to mute the music, actually. I might be scared more. It feels almost as if this was preordained by the fates, the gods above. Blip, blip. Get me out of here, get me out of here. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. I want out. Please let me go, please let me go. I'll sleep in the grass. I'll sleep in the grass, that's fine. At least I have like the moonlight on my side. You step foot inside the cottage, which is very dark, and glance around. Hey, welcome back, voice. I missed you. It is hard to see given the lateness of the hour, but the cottage's interior is about as inspiring as its exterior, which is to say, not very. It is every bit as small and as cramped as you fancied when you observed it from the outside, but I don't have high expectations. There's a few cupboards which line the wall, a wood fire which has been extinguished, and a straw pallet on the floor which must function as a bed. Your search is unsuccessful, however, when it comes to trying to locate other humans. You cannot find another soul. Surely that is to your benefit, though? Maybe? If no one else lives here, then you might as well make this your home. Or as at home as one can be, I suppose, in a small cramped cottage such as this, with holes in the roof. You close the door behind you, then approach the straw pallet. All of a sudden, you feel incredibly weary. The tiredness that assails your limbs is absolute, so intense it overcomes the last of your concerns. You settle down upon the straw pallet, yawning as you do. It is not comfortable, but being able to lie down eases some of your aches and pains. Lying down, even on an uncomfortable makeshift bed such as this one, is always better than standing. It is far, far better than running, especially. Please don't open my eyes to have someone's eyes peering straight into mine. Thank you. If I am to die, please let me die in my sleep peacefully. Your eyes fall shut and your lashes melt together, and soothed by the sound of the wind and the distant rolling of the waves, you fall asleep. I don't hear none of that, guys. What's up? Then you begin to dream. It is not uncommon, of course, to dream. The best and the worst of us do, from the queens in their castles to peasants sleeping in the straw, which is us right now. Why, who is to say that all you have observed tonight has not, in a sense, been a dream of its own? Would that make your nighttime fancies, then, a dream inside of a dream? Perhaps our dreams are empty, hollow things stacked inside one another, like little wooden dolls. Is that not a whimsical thought? How very droll. Can you stop insulting me? I'm having a not good time, okay? Your dreams, however, cannot be called whimsical, and neither are they particularly droll. They are not pure fabrications, as dreams sometimes are, fleeting fancies that have never come to pass. Your dreams are of a rather more pernicious sort. In your dreams, you're at the conservatoire, with your red hair tied back into 2 prim, proper braids. You're walking through the courtyard, clutching your books to your chest as you make your way to the library. Your head is bowed so as to not look at the faces of your passing classmates. You do not want to meet their eyes. These girls with their sensible braids and their sensible shoes are merciless. You hutch your shoulders together in this dream of yours so as to not draw their attention, but alas, they notice me. It is not enough. You stumble. Clumsy thing you are, and you fall, and just like that, all eyes are upon you. They are staring at you. They are laughing at you. You lay there on the ground by the fountain, your books scattered and your skirt in a woeful state of disarray. That's not okay. I'm not having a good time in my dream either. Your Nico knee hurts. Is it bleeding? You examine your injured leg, trying not to cry, and as this transpires, you hear a voice. One of your classmates is calling out to you. Help? You help? You help? She has acknowledged you. You help me? You look up shyly, tears beating in your eyes, at a girl taller than you and prettier and much more refined. She extends her hand towards you. Does she mean to help you? It cannot hurt to try, can it? Hesitantly, you reach out to accept her offered aid. Her finger curls around yours tightly. Perhaps too tightly? Her nails dig into your skin. It hurts. Deftly, the girl pulls you to your feet. Your legs feel weak from your fall, and your knee is still aching, still bleeding. You stumble, feeling out of sorts, but you're not afforded much of an opportunity to gather your bearings. The girl's hands are on your shoulders. Please, you've helped me. You're scaring me now. She is laughing at you. Then she is pushing you. The sound of the fountain and the running water which drums against its basin is all of a sudden very loud. It is overwhelming. It surrounds you. Then, it engulfs you. It is cold as ice. You cannot breathe. The rushing of the water continues, echoing in your eardrums over and over, and then... No. You do not want to remember this. Dream, be gone! I shan't. What good will it do? It is in the past, where the past ought to remain. You are never going to go back, not even in your dreams. It is this determination that forces you back into the world of the waking with a start. Oh, I thought someone was going to be there. I had a little bit of a hoo-hoo-hoo. You gasp like a fish as you sit upright, your eyes unnaturally wide. You feel wearied from a lack of sleep and... breathing ASMR. With half-lidded eyes, you glance about. It's still dark inside your cottage. The sky visible from beyond the windows, splashed still with stars. How long were you asleep? You are not sure. Your dream was so very detailed, it really did feel like you had been transported into a different time. Into a different place. When you inhale, you can taste rancid, poetic water in your mouth. Tentatively, you pat yourself down, your fingers trailing against the front of your uniform. So vivid was your dream, you half expect to find that your clothes are damp from the water that they dunked me in. This is not the case, however. You are, in fact, perfectly dry. Well, now what are you to do? Will you go back to sleep? That sounds like the best option available to you. You are very tired, but your senses feel too overwrought all of a sudden for the sleep. Yep. I mean, nightmares do that, bro. You do not think you could bear it. On unsteady legs, you rise to your feet, then stand by the window. You look out to the starry sky and to the pitted moon which hangs amongst them, and then you frown. Moon. You can hear the wind outdoors, howling like an injured animal, and more softly the ebb and flow of the wind or the waves as they meet the cliffs. But that is not all. What is this sound? Why is it almost like singing? The voice is far away enough that you cannot pick up any individual words, not even the individual syllables, but there's a haunting quality to it all. Ah, siren! Siren! That's how we're drowning, guys! Siren! The singer, whoever they are, possesses quite the pretty voice, high and clear like a bell. The song is a melancholy one which stirs your heart. Curiosity takes root in you, as it did during the fateful day you found that book in the library. Logically, you know you should not go outdoors to seek the source of the singing, but emotionally? That is another matter altogether. You really should have learned your lesson by now. I wonder if that would be the singing. You should know better than to go sticking your nose into business which doesn't concern you. But naughty little girls such as you never do learn. Man, the mild berating of the narrator is not comforting. You're not helping me, narrator. You cross the old fisherman's cottage as though in a dream, and then reach for the handle of the door. The handle depresses easily enough beneath your grasping fingers, and the door opens with a click. The rest of the world yawns before you, framed in the doorway, all of it bathed in moonlight. You thought it was cold inside the old cottage, but it's colder still now that the door is open. An unpleasant wind rushes forth to meet you, knifing mercilessly through the fabric of your uniform. You look across the cold, inhospitable landscape, your fingers clenched into fist at your sides. Then you step into the unknown. You canvass the cliff face, led by nothing more than the luxurious singing. Hey, thanks for the singing. You're really helping me. I hope the sun comes up soon. So haunting and ethereal in this voice, as it hangs on the breeze, it would be enough to send 1,000 ships off to war. You keep walking into the night until you reach the very edge of the cliffs, where they drop downward into empty air. You ought not to go any further, but the voice has yet to cease. Hey yo! Who are you? I yell into the void. You can still hear it echoing inside your head. It compels you to act. You look down at the shore, which seems like a dizzying distance away, then out to the ocean, which is breaking against the scattered rocks below. Your eyes narrow with determination. Okay guys, got this. I'm gonna jump. Then you take a step towards the cliff. Oh, that's a steep cliff. There are other ways we could have gone around this, man. The cliffs are steep and the rocks below them are sharp. You can see them glinting in the darkness, their tips jagged like the teeth of hungry predators. The cold wind blows, rocking your hair, and you shudder from it. Your shoes were not built for scaling cliffs, and your heels do not have much in the way of purchase. Particularly not when cliffs are so steep. Clinging to the cliffs is no small feat, yet you are determined to ease yourself down onto the shore. In one piece, preferably, but, I mean, how will we get back up? The wind is so powerful, it feels as if there's something deliberately malicious to it. Yeah, creator, why? You wonder during your descent if it's meant to knock you off your perch on purpose, to cast you down to the rocks below. Sacrifice, they said. Sacrifice. Well, if that is what it wants, then you refuse to give it the satisfaction. You can be awfully stubborn at times, and now is one of them. As you should be, queen, don't die! You continue to climb. How long have you been at it now? Until at long last, your feet meet the shoreline below. You have made it, and you did not sustain too many injuries. Your palms are throbbing, yes, after gripping those rocks. And, oh, I see the sun, though! And you might have a few cuts, but your wounds are of a shallow and superficial sort. Things could have been worse. Yeah, I could have died. You flex your fingers. They feel uncomfortably numb, and cold alongside it. Your skin is prickling, but at least you can still feel discomfort. At least it is still attached to your bones, you know, where it ought to be, your vital organs concealed within the hollow cavity of your body. You have a lot to be thankful for. This night has, by and large, been quite successful. I mean, I'm alive. There are no longer any obstacles between you and the mysterious voice which lulled you outdoors. Now, you must find them. You set down to the shore, on the hunt for the singing voice which has captivated you so. You sidestep sharp, jagged rocks which jut out from the sand like teeth. There are rocks which cannot be circumnavigated, meanwhile, you clamber over. All the while, the sound of the sea mingles with that of the singing. It provides an ethereal, haunting backdrop to your exploration. one which further adds to the surreality of your moonlight stroll. I mean, the sunlight's coming out, so it's technically not. Can I find this voice soon? I'm still tired. I want to take my nap. The waves slap against the shore, then recede shyly, pushing and pulling by the bleached white moon which hangs overhead. What moon? That's a sun! I can tell that's a sun! The oceans that you have seen in your library books were all blue as sapphires, but this ocean is different. It is so late at night, it looks black instead. The undulating surface of the water reminds you of a mirror, though its depths are even deeper and much more mysterious. A sense of foreboding settles upon you, but you try to quash it. You will not let yourself be afraid. Oh, the siren. See? The siren. You round the corner, your feet unsteady in their sensible brown shoes. Ooh, I have sensible brown shoes too? Nice. And then at long last, you see her. There is a woman sitting upon a rock out in the ocean. The woman's eyes are closed and her lips are parted, her expression soulful. She is singing. Her hair, which is fair, nice rhyme, flutters around her face like a shroud, which adds to her otherworldly aura. Her eyes might be closed, but her lashes are long and luxuriant, like a doll's. Her lips, meanwhile, are parted in song, are soft like the freshly plucked petals of a flower. Her face is perfect. Perfect. So are her proportions. Her neck is tall and slender like the stem of a flower, so she's a flower. She's not a siren, she's a flower, definitely. As for the lower half of her body, meanwhile, well, something like you've ever seen before. It is here and here alone that the woman betrays your narrow definition, or your narrow human definition of beauty, for her legs are non-existent. Rather than two awkward appendages, this woman has, instead, the sleek shimmering tail of a fish. Is she not, then, human? She cannot be, with a tail like that. This unusual sight makes you gasp, and quite audibly at that. You do not mean to be rude, but you cannot help yourself. Humans tend to react poorly to things they do not understand. At least you do not scream, that would be even ruder, and we do not want to interrupt her singing, because that is rude. Oh my. Oh, she opened her eyes, and her eyes are startlingly blue. You mean to observe the mermaid from a distance, but it would be appeared that your shocked gasp was loud enough to attract your attention. The fish-tailed vision sitting upon the rock is looking at you. Her gaze is so piercing, it feels almost as if she's looking through you? Your heart seems to stop inside your chest as if by some manner of a magic spell. You thought the mermaid was pretty when you first observed her sitting on the outcrop of rock, her face turned in profile. Now she's looking at you, however, and you can see you were mistaken. She's not just pretty, she's beautiful. I called it. She is beautiful, so much so, it is almost unnerving. She looks as though she stepped out of the pages of a picture book. I guess it's because she's 2D. She's simply too perfect to belong to this world. Perhaps she is some kind of vision, a walking dream, a hallucination. But no, she's none of those things. Her tail might be an impossible thing, but its scales look slick and wet regardless, like one of any fishes might be found on the market. These scales are iridescent, and bathed beneath the light of the moon, they almost seem to glow. The sight of her, rather, takes your breath away. You look at the mermaid. She looks back at you, and I look at him. You prepare yourself, expecting some sort of altercation, fisticuffs time. But the surprise soon fades from the mermaid's face. Her lips, which once were pursed in a frown, now shift upwards. She's smiling. Then she says in a refined sort of voice, okay, what is a refined sort of voice? My, it really is good to see a human again, particularly a human girl. I was beginning to fear that your kind had all but disappeared, and I would no longer have anyone left to tell me about the world above the waters. My, this is quite the effusive greeting. The mermaid's introductory speech is positively brimming with excitement of a sweet girlish variety. She is rather more amicable than the fine polish of her syllables, which would make one suggest. You might be a well-bred lady yourself, with an accent to match, but you cannot help but feel overwhelmed. Anxiously, you observe the mermaid, and you ask her what she means. What happened?
As to that, I am afraid I cannot say. I have been sitting on these rocks and singing for many, many nights, but nobody has come to see me. There have been no lovely humans for me to play with. I was beginning to wonder whether your kind had disappeared altogether. I feared some matter of calamity had occurred while I was slumbering beneath the water's surface and your kind had been eradicated.
You shudder, then reassure the mermaid to the contrary. You do not know about the humans that she used to speak with, but you, at least, have not been eradicated. You are still here.
Yes, well, I can see that,
the mermaid answers with a light laugh.
It really is a relief.
My fellow merpeople who live beneath the water told me not to worry so, but I could not help myself.
Help myself? I had always been fond of you humans. It's rather sobering, sitting here night after night all on my own.
It gets so lonely here. It's the tagline, guys! Oh my god, it's the tagline! It gets so lonely here! Now, that is an interesting turn of face. It catches in your head like a burr. Have you ever heard it before?
So, dear human, did you say that you're unfamiliar with these parts?
Hesitantly, you examine the mermaid. Thoughtlessly, though, you might be at times. You are not so very self-centered that you cannot detect the note of longing in the mermaid's voice. It is evident as she looks at you that she is hoping for a particular answer to her query. This answer, alas, is not one that you can furnish her with. You do not want to lie with her. It is after some hesitation, therefore, that you reaffirm your earlier words, though this time you embellish them. You tell the mermaid that you are a traveler from a far-off land, one which is very dissimilar to this one. It is not a complete fabrication. You tell her that you have only just arrived by this shore, and you are unfamiliar with both the immediate surroundings and those further afield. If there is a village nearby, then you have never set foot in it. You do not know what this village is, nor how many inhabitants it boasts. You do not know if a calamity, as the mermaid grimly supposed, has struck this land. But if she fears all the human within the immediate vicinity have laid low by some mysterious malady, then she needn't worry overly on that score. You are still alive. Are you not, you wonder, enough to satiate her curiosity with the human realm?
Yes, that is true. You are here. I am grateful naturally for your company. Although...
Wistfully, the mermaid sighs.
I was rather hoping you might be able to bring me some news of the nearby village and of its inhabitants.
This makes you wonder. Was there a particular person from this village she was close to?
So you were able to work that much out?
The mermaid answers with a small smile.
You are an intelligent one, aren't you?
Your past professors would beg to differ on that score, but they're wrong. I am smart. You were always awful when it came to academics, mathematics in particular. You can never get your head around all the numbers. Your stern, stony-faced maths professor used to despair in you. But she is not here. None of them are. It is just you now and the mermaid. She does not need to know about your dismal academic record. You allow yourself a small smile, touched by her compliment, and you tell her that it's nothing more than a lucky guess.
For a guess, it was remarkably accurate. You're quite right. I did have a close friend from the nearby village. She is very dear to me.
Internally, you congratulate yourself on this piece of detective work. That's us, detectives! Local isekai detective, maybe. How very clever you are. There are many humans in this world, of course I know. The human who spoke with me, however, was very special. She was my human. You do not fail to catch the possessive note in the mermaid's voice.
And I cherished her deeply. She would come to meet me on my rock late at night, and when she was finished with her chores, and then we could talk. I asked her a good number of questions about the human realm and about our customs. I fear my endless inquiries must have been rather tedious, but she was always happy to indulge me. She never once scorned me for my ignorance. I mean, she is a mermaid, how would she know human stuff? And neither did she make me feel like a fool. She always made time for me, no matter how many demands she had at her time. She was a farmer's daughter, and she was awfully busy from dawn until dusk, threshing hay and taking the animals out to pasture. She told me of her work, and I marveled at her. Slender though she was, she possessed a truly tremendous amount of strength. I, who have lived in the ocean all my life, cannot countenance working as hard as she did, but she bore her burdens without complaining. She is not the prettiest human who walked the earth, but that mattered not to me. Her conversations were engaging, and I knew, through our continued encounters, that she meant no ill will. She did not have a single drop of malice in her heart. The wistful manner in which the mermaid speaks of her friend makes you feel, for brief moments, a flicker of some ugly primordial emotion. Could it be jealousy? We only know this mermaid for like maybe 30 minutes? Come on, chill. This isn't Romeo and Juliet. It is painful, isn't it, to hear others wax poetic about those they hold dear, particularly when you yourself have never been regarded in such an intimate manner. You have, for many, many years, been woefully alone. But you are not alone now. You are with the mermaid, and she is with you, and though she might prefer to be in the company of an industrious farmhand, the farmhand is not here. Where will she go? Oh, if only I knew. She quite simply disappeared one day, almost as if she'd been whisked away by a wicked spirit. That seemed like quite the anticlimactic ending for such a close relationship. Did the farmhand not tell her companion beforehand that she might one day disappear? No, she did not. Nothing of that sort happened. It was all very sudden. So, you ask, feeling affronted upon the mermaid's behalf, did she not give you any warning? Not a single one. And when you ask, did she disappear? I do not know, in truth. Time is a strange concept to beings such as myself, particularly as it seems to ebb and flow differently both above and below the surface. You humans have a strange compulsion to pin down and to place labels upon everything. You have names for your seasons and your months and even for your days of the week. It is all very precise. We merfolk, however, do not bother with such affairs, perhaps because we live for so much longer than your humans do. We do not need to obsessively document our days, not when we have so many of them at our disposal. This curious remark catches your attention. How long exactly do mermaids live for? The mermaid does not look much older than you do, but you cannot help but wonder. My, nosy, aren't we? The mermaid asks, and she laughs. A soft tinkling sound like that of a bell, which makes you blush. Were you being nosy? Perhaps you were. You've always had a thirst for knowledge, not of the dry, dusty academic variety, but stories peopled with strange persons. Literature was the only subject you were ever any good at. What do you mean? Genius. I know all the subjects. Everything. Again, it's hard for me to quantify, but putting it in terms that humans like you can understand, I suppose we mermaids can live for centuries. Centuries? That is quite the surprise. But perhaps it shouldn't be. You have been subjected to any number of surprises tonight. What is one more to add to the pile? I have not been waiting quite that long, however. For my friend to return to me. I think it has been but a few seasons. It might not sound like much, but never before have I been so aware of the passage of time. I have experienced any number of wants during my life, but I have never wanted anything quite as badly as I want to see her. I wish she would sit with me and she would talk to me just one more time. But perhaps I'm asking for an impossibility. I have been waiting for a long time now to presume that she will not be returning to me. I fear that something might have happened to her or to her family. Or perhaps to her whole village. You can hear the worry throbbing in the mermaid's voice, so potent that, for a few moments, you can feel the depth of her sorrow within your own breast. Feeling those boob motions, guys. Her sadness over this human girl is a deep, dark thing, almost fathomless. You cannot let yourself indulge in it for too long. Otherwise, you fear you might drown in it. Ruefully, you tell the mermaid once more that you cannot help her. You are only a traveler, after all. What do you know of a single insignificant farmhand in a nearby village? Yes, I thought you might say that. It is quite unfortunate, but... well... I ought to not reflect upon all the time that I'm missing. That would be churlish of me, and it would not be fair to you either. You did not approach me, I am sure, with the hope of hearing about all of my woes. I mean, yeah, I hoped I would find a human. I mean, at least I'm not drowning yet. I should be grateful instead for all it is that I do have. I still have my long, long life, which stretches before me like a golden cord, and of course I have you now. Does she? Does she? Are you claiming possession over me? Without my consent? Sus. Do I not? I have to go soon, before my absence is noticed, but will you not come and visit again tomorrow night? I think I would like that. I've always enjoyed speaking to humans. You make me feel less alone. You cannot help but feel as the mermaid observes you with those enchanting eyes of yours, that she does not truly wish to speak to you for your sake. She wants to use you, instead, as a substitute for the farmhand that she's missing so very ardently. The thought stings, though you really ought to be used to it. What? What happened? What do you mean? Were you used as a rebound before? Was that the girl before? Still, to be held in lower esteem than a farmhand of all things. It makes your self-esteem sing. Ah, of course, rich people. You try not to let this mermaid notice this, though. The woes of your past are not her fault, much as the woes of her past are not yours. It is silly in any case to be jealous of a girl who might very well be dead. That is what you tell yourself. We're in the coping phase. It is the only way to prop up your bruised sense of self-worth. You would, you tell the mermaid after a pause, like to see her again. You would like that very much. Oh, thank you. I've been feeling very gloomy for quite some time, but seeing you has invigorated me. Finally, it feels as though I can smile again. Did she not smile, you wonder, after her friend disappeared? I did not, no. I did not have the heart. Without her, the world seemed very droll and drab. Your company has cheered me immensely. That's why I like humans so much. You are not callous and unfeeling like the merfolk who live beneath the world's surface, the water surface. You are much kinder than they are. Oh, if only she knew. If the mermaid was aware, I wonder, of how petty you are and how jealous, would she still care for you? Well, that is neither here nor there. Well, and then we head back. You agree to meet the mermaid come sundown the following night. Then make your slow, stumbling way back to the cliffs, then to the cottage that you have purloined as your own. So, I've realized that this is a long game as I reach this mark, so I'm going to stop here. It's not long, but it's like a few hours. I'll stop here and I'll continue next time where we meet the mermaid again. So far, background noise, perfect. I really like it. The humming adds another layer of like intensity to what I'm feeling. And when I see that dark room, it's horrible. Horrible. But the mermaid's pretty, and that's what matters, I guess. I like the feeling that it's not like I thought it was going to be like, oh, she's already jealous of like this girl who likes another girl, even though they've only met. But it was actually not that, apparently.
it was because I think she hasn't really felt loved, our main character. But, you know, maybe we'll unlock more about her story and the mermaid story in the future, you know, segments of this. So, I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye!